Hi, SAS listeners. Welcome back to another episode of Sexual Assault Survivor Stories, the SAS podcast. I'm your host, Dave Markel, and this is episode 156. This week, things are a bit different than my normal format because I have some really important information I want to pass on to you. I want to take a few minutes to introduce you to someone truly remarkable. Her name is Kennedy Alley, and she's about to take on a tremendous challenge. On October 18th, Kennedy will be running her very first 100-mile race. But this isn't just about a race, or endurance, grit, or checking off a bucket list goal. She's dedicating every single one of those miles to survivors of sexual assault and rape, and she's doing it to raise funds for the Domestic Violence Intervention Services Incorporated Sex Assault Nurse Examiner Department in Tulsa, Oklahoma. For those of you who may not know, SANE nurses and victim advocates are often among the very first people a survivor encounters after an assault. That first response matters. It can either help a survivor move toward healing, or it can deepen their trauma. The work that these nurses and advocates do is extraordinary. They bring empathy, compassion, and a trauma-informed response to crisis situations most people can't even imagine carrying. As a survivor herself, Kennedy wants to acknowledge and honor their contribution to the recovery process by tying her 100-mile run directly to fundraising for them, because their impact ripples forward in the lives of every survivor they serve. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about Kennedy herself. She's a devoted wife and mother, raising a 3-year-old son who already loves kicking a soccer ball and zipping around on his bike. Her family includes her husband, who she met back in 2012, and their 14-year-old blue chihuahua named Kevin, who still brings plenty of joy and energy to their home. On the outside, you see adventure, family, and connection. But what really stands out is the resilience and strength Kennedy has built along the way. Kennedy's life has not always been easy. As an adoptee, she grew up often feeling misunderstood, at times socially and emotionally isolated. Dance became her outlet, her way of expressing herself, of releasing pain, and of discovering her own rhythm. It gave her the foundation of discipline, confidence, and resilience that she still carries. She went on to compete nationally, and dance has remained her sanctuary, her space of peace, and her renewal. Later in life, after a traumatic experience, Kennedy discovered trail running. And just like dance, trail running became more than an activity. It became a cornerstone of her healing journey. If you've ever spent time on the trails, you know they can be unpredictable. The terrain changes, the weather turns, and nothing about it is easy. But that's part of the beauty. Out there with every right, left, Kennedy works through grief and gratitude. She faces her pain and her strength head on. She's failed, she's succeeded, and she's kept moving forward. And that's what makes the trail such a powerful metaphor for life and healing. You don't always know what's coming, but you take the next step anyway. Kennedy carries that same resilience into her professional life. She started her career in the specialty coffee world, where she loved the community and the connections forged over something as simple as a cup of coffee. Later, with a degree in international business, she transitioned into financial advising, specializing in retirement planning. It's a career that demands perseverance, patience, and foresight, qualities that she's developed both in life and on the trail. As a woman in a male-dominated industry, she knows what it means to trailblaze in more ways than one. Now, with the Pumpkin Holler 100 coming up, Kennedy is stepping into her biggest test yet: 100 miles. 100 survivors honored. Each mile a tribute, each step a statement, a reminder that sexual assault and rape are not abstract issues. They are very real, they happen every day, and they leave scars that can last a lifetime. But there is hope, there is strength, and there are survivors like Kennedy who refuse to let silence win. Kennedy's message is simple, but powerful. Start by believing. Believe survivors. Listen to their stories. Respond with compassion and trauma-informed care. When we do that, we create an environment where healing becomes possible and where survivors are empowered rather than dismissed. And while Kennedy hasn't been a guest on this show yet, her hope is that her healing and logistical circumstances will evolve into her being here with us and sharing more of her story. But for now, as she prepares for this incredible journey, Kennedy is inviting all of us to come alongside her, to share her story, to support her cause, and to dedicate not just her miles, but our voices to the fight against sexual assault and rape. If you know someone who would like to contribute or connect, please share her link. You'll find it in the episode notes of this episode. Kennedy says she doesn't know what the future holds, and she doesn't have all the answers. But she does know this: every journey begins with one step in the right direction. This October 18th, she's taking 100 miles worth of steps, and each one is in honor of a survivor. To that, I can only say, Kennedy, we are with you in this endeavor, and we wish you Godspeed and safety through every step. That does it for another episode of Sexual Assault Survivor Stories. Let me close with this request. Please consider helping Kennedy's cause with a donation if it's something that you can do. And if it's not, that's okay. I just ask that you share this episode with everyone you know. Also, keep in mind that when you share SAS episodes, you're contributing to the critically important aspect of normalizing the conversation and helping to lessen the prevalence of rape and sexual assault. Thank you for being here. And don't forget to tune in next week when I bring you another guest that can help change lives and normalize the conversation. We'll see you next week.